everyone. Maria Morales with LowKick MMA, and today I have the absolute pleasure, of being joined by no other than one half of the UFC heavyweight interim title championship, Ciryl Gane. Ciryl, how are you today?
I'm really fine, thank you. And you?
Absolutely, I'm doing great. I'm excited because I
Cool.
get to talk to you.
Yeah, really cool.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you because I know that it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. Did you go straight back into camp after the Volkov fight?
No, 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 no. It was really important to do a little break, a little bit rest. I had maybe 4 or 5 full days of family time, and it was perfect. It was enough to load love with my family and to recover some breeze here and there. And now I'm really better.
Awesome, awesome. So I want to ask you, obviously camps are different for different fighters, but what change do you plan on making or did you make to prepare for this camp against Lewis?
Of course, I did a really great camp for the fight against Volkov, so I was prepared already. And we just switched my sparring partner
Mhm.
because now it's different than Volkov. Is Derrick Lewis, a little bit shorter, stronger. And
Mhm.
so, yes, we found two big men, Mikhail Grogu and Alpha Sissoko, two big guys from boxing and very technical guys, really tough, with a big hole, perfect sparring partner. He seems a little bit like Derrick Lewis, and that's really perfect to prepare for this fight. And with my conditioning trainer, my coach of conditioning, we just maintain to stay
Okay.
fresh. That's it, because we did very well already with the camp for World Cup.
Awesome. And speaking of Volkov, I know that you've done lots of interviews, pre-fight and post-fight where you've talked about it. But now that a little bit of time has passed, how do you rate yourself? How do you assess your performance against Volkov?
For me, Volkov, it's one of the best guy of this division, 100%. For me, this guy is really well-rounded, really tall, really. He's really, for me, it's a really great fighter.
Mhm.
And before the fight, like every fight, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
That's really true. Some people, some fighters say, "Yeah, I'm gonna knock I'm gonna finish the fight at the second
Right.
round." That's really crazy to for me, it's impossible. And against Volkov, seriously, it was really tight on my mind. And yes, so that's why I'm really happy to do this performance.
Mm.
Yeah, and like we know, when you watch the former performance of Volkov, every time he makes the pressure, and
Right.
I like this because I make the pressure, and you go back to the cage, and that's cool.
Yeah, that was like watching the fight live. It was crazy
Mm,
because I think a lot of us expected him to push you around,
exactly.
and it ended up being a bit of the opposite. But with that, was there anything about him or anything that he did that surprised you?
Just at the first round, because with my coach, of course, we learn a lot of in some videos, and we expect a little bit more um, middle kick, high kick, something like that, but not the low kick. And he
Right.
started a lot with the low kick, so it was a little bit. But I got a fight IQ, so I managed this situation really quickly, and we did well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for a lot of us in the media that watched the fight, that was one of the things that stood out was the adjustments and the fight IQ.
Mm.
And you've had a lot of tough fights, but to this point, would you consider Volkov your toughest fight in the UFC so far?
Yes, for the moment, it was yes, absolutely. For the moment, yes, it was a but I don't know exactly if you watch the end of the fight, but I got some grit on my face. It was the first time all of my career. It was the first time all of my career. It was the first time a guy touched me like that. But it was the game plan too to go ahead a little bit more and make the pressure. And you risk. This is a risk to have more and more punch on your head.
Yeah, but you know what? You answered some questions though, because a lot of people, because you hadn't really been hit, wondered, well, if somebody hits him, can he take the punch? And I think that you definitely showed that that was not an issue for you, that you could, in fact, take the hit.
Exactly.
Well,
It's not a problem. I like that. Yeah.
fair enough. Well, let me switch gears a little bit because I know that many of us were surprised that the interim title bout came to be so quickly after Francis Ngannou had won the belt. Were you surprised at all?
A little bit, yeah. I think everybody was a little bit surprised of this decision. But when you sleep on it a little bit, you can understand because the this UFC, this number of UFC was already booked, and the
Right.
Francis say at the last time, I think, if it's that he canceled, and so yes, he want to maintain this UFC, and you need to sell some tickets, and for that you need to have a good show, and that's why maybe he did it. And when you think a little bit about that, it's a good promotion for the next fight, for the winner of this fight. After that, you're gonna have champion versus champion.
Right.
So yeah, yeah. So no, it's really not stupid. It's really not stupid.
Well, let me ask you though, because a lot of fighters that fight for interim titles, when they win, they will say things like, "Well, I don't feel like I'm really the champ because it's an interim belt," that type of thing. If you are to be successful and win the interim title, will you feel like the champion? Like, do you think that being interim takes anything away from that for you?
No, of course not. The champion is still the champion. Yes, this is mean something, and this is a big ticket for to be the contender and to fight against the real champion. But yes, the champion is still the champion. This is the interim belt, and yeah, this is look like a big ticket.
Awesome. And how soon, because you brought it up and it's a really good point that selling a champion versus champion fight is good
Yeah.
for everybody, right? How soon after you win the belt, if you're successful, do you want to then unify the title against Francis?
I think I'm gonna rest a little bit because I don't know if you know that, but my wife, she's pregnant.
Congratulations.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm waiting for a second daughter, and this is gonna happen. I don't know. Maybe now, maybe 3 days, maybe
Okay.
when I'm gonna be in Houston. Maybe I cross the fingers. She's gonna waiting for me, and
Absolutely.
that's why, because every parent know it's really hard to manage this situation, and you need to be
Absolutely.
fresh, and that's really complicated because you risk some injuries or something like that at the training when you don't sleep well, something like that.
Mhm.
So I think I'm going to rest a little bit, and after I'm going to go back, I'm going to go ahead to the training. So maybe the end of this year, maybe the
Okay.
next year, I don't know exactly. if i win uh, if I
No,
win again, Derek,
that
yes.
makes perfect sense. Listen, baby boot camp when they first come can be almost as hard as a fight boot camp, right?
Yeah, and also I have a babies already. She had just
Exactly.
just she had just 2.5, so two babies at the same time. It's gonna be hard. It's
Listen,
gonna be
if
hard.
nothing else, that'll get your mind ready though, right? Having to deal with two babies.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I hope I'm gonna win. I'm gonna have successful for the next week, and after that, yeah, I'm gonna be peace in my mind.
Awesome. Awesome. So now let me ask you because stylistically, you and Derrick are so different.
Yeah.
What do you make of him as an opponent?
For this fight, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a perfectly bon gamin. What is it? And I'm gonna move well. I'm
Mhm.
gonna touch him, and he never touched me. I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So do you think that there are any either strengths with Derek that you need to be concerned about, or are there weaknesses with Derek that you plan to exploit?
Uh, yes. Everybody know what is the strength of the release. Everybody know that, and he really know that, and that's why he had some successful on his former fight,
Right.
and and he, and I like to say when the guys know his strength and use it, just only use this strength, and really focus on this strength is really, it's really dangerous. That's why this guy is really dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I'm gonna be careful of that. And I think his weakness is a little bit flat foot,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's good for me. I think this is really good for me. I think I'm gonna move a lot on my feet, and I'm gonna touch him. I'm gonna in, out.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely had some struggles with fighters that are a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah,
So that makes
exactly.
perfect sense to me.
It's a good game plan.
It is. No, I think
Yeah,
is it I think it is. But I have
good.
to ask you because obviously the UFC has yet to host a major event in Paris, in France. The day that that happens, and especially if you have the belt, I'm sure that would be amazing for you. But does it matter to you that this fight is going to be in his hometown?
No matter, no matter. It will be a good present for the fan or friends, and maybe it will be a good idea to start it like that
Hmm.
with this fight,
Okay.
to start it to do something in France. I think it will be a big success. So maybe this is gonna happen if I win. If I win.
No, and you said it before that, with every big fight, you're starting to get more recognition, in France, just people on the street. So I would have to imagine that if you are successful, that would be huge for the UFC and MMA in France, no?
Exactly, exactly. I put a little. I think I have to put a little bit more light on this sport because it's really young in this country. The MMA was legalized just there 1 years ago.
Hmm.
So if you don't practice the martial art, I think you don't know what it is.
Right.
And so yes, I hope for that, and I hope this is gonna happen soon.
Awesome. And now, we talked about Volkov a little bit, and the top of the heavyweight division is just insane with the amount of
Yeah,
talent that it has. But, kind of looking forward, do you think that Volkov was a tougher opponent for you than what Derek Lewis will be because he is a little bit more dynamic? Or do you think that with Derek having that thing that he does very well, do you think that he's going to be a little bit tougher for you?
this is a good question. This is a good question. I don't have the good answer because I never fought against Derrick Lewis, so I don't know what is the feeling because you have the statistic, you have all of that, but when you are in the cage face to face with the guys, you have another feeling. Even the coach just around can't feel that,
Hmm. Yeah.
and so that's why I don't know. That's why I don't know.
Well, well, listen, it's fine. Here in the States, there's a saying that everybody has a great game plan until they get punched in the face, right? So, like, to your point, you won't really know until
Yeah,
you're in it and you're doing it. So, yeah, no, I
exactly,
I totally
exactly.
get it. So, if you had to give a prediction of how this fight ends, what would be your prediction? Just how you would game plan it, because obviously no one knows what will happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
do you think it will end?
What I want to finish the fight before the end. This is my mission,
Okay.
and I think it's possible. I
Mhm.
think it's possible because when you look the statistic with Derrick Lewis, you know if every fight, even if he win or he lose, the fight finish before the end.
Mhm.
So because I'm gonna make a pressure. I'm gonna make some punch, a lot of. I'm gonna make a good statistic. I want to make a good statistic, and yes, I hope I'm gonna finish before the end if I win. Yeah,
No, absolutely.
this is my prediction.
And listen, I have to ask you, because if you win, then that does set up a champion versus champion fight. Talk to me a little bit about how you would approach that fight against Francis to unify the belts.
This is a good question. For me, it's just a sport. For me, it's really just a sport, and everybody know that. Yes, we did some a little sparring.
Hmm.
There are a few times. We did that just two times because he coming back to prepare to do a camp for a fight. I don't know against it was over him another one. I don't remember. So yes, we did it or we did it. Yes, that's true. But with Francis, we are not really close. We are not really close. So that's why it's not really strange. It's not really strange because he don't know me really. I don't know him really.
Right,
And and for me, it's a sport. It's a
right.
sport. When you look me, go ahead to in the cage. When you look my face, I'm here just for doing my job, and I'm really happy to do that. I just want to make a show for the fan. There are no bad feelings. There are just the good feelings, and if tomorrow I'm gonna fight against the Francis, it's gonna be like that, just with the good feeling.
Yeah, and I have to think too, both of you have continued to grow since you
Yeah,
sparred together. So really, I guess it's a little hard to take that and then translate it into what's going to happen in the future, because both of you are different fighters now, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's really interesting. I think this fight gonna it's gonna be if this fight is happening. I think it's gonna be a good success.
Awesome. And I have to
Yeah,
ask you too, because again, as I said earlier, the top of this division already is crazy. There's so many talented fighters. But there's one name that has yet to enter into really the rankings for the heavyweights because he hasn't debuted yet. And we know he is going to eventually in John Jones.
yeah.
Regardless of how many belts you have and how many title defenses, you're going to meet John Jones, right? How do you think that he is going to do at heavyweight?
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what's gonna happening with John Jones, but everybody know he's the goat in the light heavyweight. That's sure. But I don't know if he fought already in this division,
No,
in the
he hasn't
heavyweight
yet.
division. Never in
Mm-mm,
his career, never. So
mm-mm.
I don't know exactly, but I think he have a good fight IQ. The, the physicality, yeah, really good. Everybody know that. So I think he can do something very great, really great. He's taller. I
Yeah,
don't know.
he's tall.
Yeah, he's tall. So now it's more heavy, and I think it's new for him.
Hmm.
But he improved with his weight.
Hmm.
But yes, I don't know. I think if tomorrow I fight against John Johnson, it's going to be a really technical fight. Yeah.
If I was talking to a friend one day when they first announced that he was coming up to heavyweight, and I remember your name came off my it was the first name on my list. I was like, I would love to see Ciryl and John compete against each other,
Oh,
because there
beautiful.
are some similarities in your
A
styles.
little
You're both
bit.
very,
Yeah.
very dynamic. It would be a heavyweight fight, in my opinion, that would feel like a light heavyweight fight because of how both of you move.
That's true.
But with that, again, if you win the title and he's coming, do you think that as a champion, you would be okay with his first heavyweight fight being against you for a title? Or do you think he should get a warm up fight first before he has an opportunity to fight for the belt?
Uh, if you ask me this question now, today, because I'm not the champion, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, my answer is gonna be, yo, my man, go,
Right, right.
take it easy. But
Absolutely.
if tomorrow I win against Derrick and after that I win against Francis, yes, I'm gonna say, come on, man.
Yeah, come on over here. Let's do this.
And you know why already?
Absolutely,
Because this
absolutely.
guy is bankable and this is good for the pay-per-view for all of that. And yes, this is that's why.
Well, I mean, and not only that, it's good for you, right? Because at the end of the day, you're building your legacy in the UFC. It doesn't hurt to have a fight against, one of the greatest of all time in the sport on your
Yeah,
resume.
yes, exactly. And I'm a young guy with a young career, and if I win like that, I'm gonna be envious with it. So yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
So I just got two more things because before I let you go, because I know that you're super busy, but being one of the more dynamic heavyweights, and that's not an insult to any of the other heavyweights. Everybody has their strengths, but you have shown through your record and through your time in the UFC just how well rounded you are. You can do everything well. But I have to ask you, what do you think about, YouTubers like the Jake Pauls and the Logan Pauls crossing over into combat sports? What do you think of those types of fights?
Me, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, for me, I'm agree with that. But because just I started the martial art just now and boxing and everything and Muay Thai
Mhm.
and this sport and for me it's good. It's good. Everybody want to make the money. Tomorrow, if I want, I have a bet. I want an opportunity to boxing against Tyson Fury or something like that. That's crazy. Or maybe
Crazy.
against a YouTuber or something like that because this is make money. Everybody know
Yeah.
that, and everybody want the money. So yes, and also this guy training hard.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
brother's training hard, and he's not sad. He's not bad. He's not bad when he boxing. So no, this is makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's the way that the sports are evolving, right? Like 20
Yes,
years ago, nobody would have ever thought that you would see something like this. But to your point, with these guys really training hard and putting their best foot
training
forward,
hard, big hype,
yep, yep,
really
and the
big
money's
hype.
there, right?
So why not? Why not?
All right. Well, my last thing for you then, since clearly you're not opposed to it, we have Jake Paul coming up soon against Tyrone Woodley. How do you
Yeah,
think that fight goes? What's your prediction on that fight?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just for the storytelling, maybe Jack Paul winner. Jack Paul.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because his hype gonna grow up and because you train hard and when you train hard and you are confident, you believe in yourself, everything is possible and maybe it's possible and maybe this is a good message for the people and this is a good this this is good for the people for maybe for switch a little bit more with some boxing and MMA something like that. That's to make a bridge. That's
Amazing.
good.
No,
Yeah.
that's you're the first fighter I've talked to that has provided that perspective of looking at it more so like, but what does it do for the people? So I really appreciate that. That's a different point of view.
Yeah, maybe that's because I'm young in this sport. Maybe for that. Maybe for that.
Absolutely. Well, Cyril, before I let you go, I never wish fighters good luck. I think that that's an insult to all of the hard work you do because it's not luck that got you where you are. It's all of the hard work and the preparation that you've done. So, with
Yeah.
that, I hope that your preparation pays off for you as you fight Derrick Lewis for that interim heavyweight title.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Everyone, Ciryl Gane.
Bye-bye.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.